Welcome to Antares Podcast. Relax and learn.
All right, buckle up for this one because we are diving headfirst into some seriously strange territory.
Oh yeah, we are talking Skinwalker Ranch.
You got it.
Out in the Utah desert.
Yep, a place with a reputation and, a spooky one.
Definitely a spooky one.
And we are going to try to make some sense of it today.
Absolutely.
I've got two sources in front of me.
Okay, cool.
One is an article from the Spanish news site cuatro.com.
Interesting.
And the other one is the Skinwalker Ranch Wikipedia page.
Okay, good sources.
We are going to see what we can unearth.
Excellent.
So Skinwalker Ranch has become like this hub for paranormal activity.
Yeah, it really has become a magnet for the paranormal, you know?
Yeah.
Even the skeptics, even the people who are like, I don't know about this stuff.
Right.
Start to wonder when they hear about what goes on at this place.
Exactly.
It makes you think.
We are talking UFO sightings,
Yeah.
cattle mutilations that are just absolutely insane,
Brutal.
creatures straight out of a nightmare,
Yeah.
and a possible tie-in to Native American legends.
Really interesting stuff.
This whole thing kicks off back in 1994 with a family, the Shermans,
Okay.
who just wanted a quiet life on a ranch.
They bought this ranch hoping for peace and quiet, I imagine. They got something else entirely.
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about this, is their story. It just immediately draws you in.
Oh yeah, it's like you said, they're just looking for a new chapter. And then, bam, they are thrust into this mystery that just defies explanation.
They start finding their cattle mutilated
Oh gosh.
in ways that are just horrifying.
Yeah.
Like organs are missing,
What?
but there's no blood, no footprints, no signs of struggle.
That is so strange.
And these kinds of mutilations keep popping up in other unexplained cases all over the world.
You know, it makes you think, is this just some series of bizarre coincidences? Or is there some kind of connection, something bigger going on that we just haven't figured out yet?
Yeah, it's like a calling card, but we don't know who left it.
Right, exactly. It's a fingerprint, but we don't know who it belongs to.
Then things get even weirder.
Okay.
The Shermans claim they encountered a wolf-like creature
Okay.
that could shrug off bullets.
Wow.
Like it's straight out of a myth.
That's when you really start to see those similarities to other stories of cryptids.
Right.
You know, like Bigfoot and the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Often described as being incredibly strong. You can't hurt them. It's like they're not even there.
It's like this whole hidden world of creatures operating outside the rules we understand.
A shadow world.
Imagine the fear they must have felt
Oh, I can't even imagine.
dealing with all of this.
Yeah, the constant looking over your shoulder. You never know what's going to happen next.
Eventually, it got to be too much, and they sold the ranch.
That makes sense. I mean, who could blame them?
Right.
The stress, the fear, it wears you down.
It really shows how powerful these events were.
Oh, absolutely. You're confronted with something that completely shatters your understanding of reality. It changes you.
But the ranch's activity didn't end with the Shermans.
Oh, really? So it continued.
Oh yeah, in 1996, a group called the National Institute of the Science of Discovery, or NIDS, bought it.
NIDS. Now, those are the folks who really dive into the unexplained, right?
Yeah, they use science to try and make sense of it all.
Okay, so they are taking a more scientific approach.
Yeah, they brought researchers and high-tech equipment to try to get some hard data on what was happening at Skinwalker Ranch.
You know what I think is so interesting about this is that NIDS got involved. It adds a whole other dimension to this story.
Right.
Because they were recording things like electromagnetic interference that was disrupting their equipment.
Right.
Imagine that kind of energy being tied to the other weird stuff happening on the ranch.
That's wild.
It's a complete mystery.
It's like the ranch itself is a magnet for the unexplained.
It seems that way.
Personal accounts that are terrifying,
Right.
physical evidence that's bizarre, and scientific anomalies that are off the charts.
Where do you even go from there with all of that evidence?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's tempting to jump to the most outlandish explanation.
Sure, I get that.
Right? But there could be a scientific explanation.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe even a combination of factors.
Wow.
Or maybe there's something truly beyond our understanding at work.
It's a possibility we can't rule out.
Now, fast forward to 2016.
Okay.
A businessman buys the ranch with plans to create a TV show.
Interesting.
And that's when Skinwalker Ranch really starts gaining mainstream attention.
It makes you think about how that shift towards entertainment might have changed how people view the ranch.
Yeah,
Does the focus on entertainment overshadow the genuine mystery?
it's a valid point.
It is.
When you mix entertainment and the unexplained, you have to be careful not to blur the lines between fact and fiction.
Exactly.
It raises the question, are we getting the whole story? Or just the parts that make for good TV?
Right. Are they just giving us the highlights?
Right.
The most sensational bits?
Exactly.
And leaving out the more nuanced details?
So the sources. We have that's three main hypotheses.
Okay, let's hear them.
To try to explain the activity at Skinwalker Ranch,
Okay.
we've got a Native American curse,
Okay.
a secret military testing ground,
All right.
or a dimensional portal.
Oh, wow.
Each one is more bizarre than the last.
They really are.
Let's start with the curse.
Okay.
The Ute Native Americans who have lived in this area for centuries
Mm-hmm.
have legends about a being called the Skinwalker,
A skinwalker, what's that?
a shapeshifter,
Oh, wow.
often associated with witchcraft and dark magic.
So not something you want to bump into in the woods.
Not at all.
That's for sure.
The Skinwalker legend adds this whole layer of history and cultural context to the mystery.
It really underscores how important it is to consider different belief systems and how they might intersect with this kind of phenomena.
It reminds us that what might seem like a supernatural event to one person could be deeply rooted in another culture's traditions and beliefs.
Right. We have to be open to those different ways of seeing the world.
Before we dive into the curse and the other theories,
Okay.
let's just take a closer look at the sheer variety of phenomena that people have reported at Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just the chattel mutilations and the wolf creature.
Oh yeah, we are talking orbs,
Okay.
poltergeist activities, strange creatures, even crap circles.
Wow, it's like someone took every paranormal cliche and threw it at this one spot in the Utah desert.
And there are even stories about an RV floating in midair.
What an RV!
A full-size RV just hovering there.
Okay, now that is something I would have to see to believe.
Right, it defies all logic.
It does. How is that even possible?
And then there are reports of a black triangular aircraft,
Okay.
similar to what people describe as stealth aircraft,
Interesting.
and circles of light in the sky.
You know, those types of sightings are pretty common at other paranormal hotspots around the world.
Right?
Makes you wonder, are we talking about advanced technology we don't understand, something extraterrestrial, or something else entirely?
Right.
Is Skinwalker Ranch a window into something beyond our current comprehension?
I mean, it's a huge question. It really feels like we are dealing with a puzzle box.
It does, doesn't it?
Every time you think you got a piece in place,
Uh-huh.
another one pops out and throws everything into question.
Skinwalker Ranch is a masterclass in mystery, that's for sure.
All right, so let's talk about some of the explanations that have been offered up.
Okay.
We've got everything from elaborate hoaxes and mass hallucinations to secret government experiments
Mm-hmm.
and the mind-blowing possibility of ultimate realities.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is wild.
It's fascinating to see how people try to make sense of things that we just can't explain.
Yeah,
Some of these explanations, I mean, they're more grounded in reality than others,
sure.
but I think they all speak to our desire to find order in the chaos.
Yeah, I think you're totally right.
Our brains just don't like not knowing.
Right,
So we come up with stories, we come up with explanations, even if they're
right.
a little out there.
So let's tackle the hoax theory head on.
Okay.
Could it be that all of these reports are just elaborate cranks?
Okay.
Stories spun to get attention?
I mean, it's possible,
Right,
but I think it's important to consider the credibility of the witnesses.
okay,
You know, take the Shermans, for example. They reported these incidents to authorities.
right,
They were genuinely distressed by what they experienced.
yeah,
It doesn't seem very likely that they would just make up this story,
right.
especially considering they lost money because of the cattle mutilations.
Yeah, it's not like they profited off of any of this.
Exactly.
What about the idea of mass hallucinations?
Okay.
Could a group of people all be experiencing the same delusion?
I mean, hallucinations are possible,
Right.
but it's less likely that multiple people would experience the same detailed hallucinations over a long period of time.
Okay.
And you also have to think about the physical evidence.
Okay.
The electromagnetic interference, the patterns in the cattle mutilations.
Right.
These aren't just figments of someone's imagination.
We are talking about tangible things that could be measured and observed.
Exactly.
So let's move on to the government experiments theory.
All right.
Some folks suggest that maybe the military is testing some top secret technology at Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
What do you think about that one?
I mean, that's a theory that's gaining a lot of traction, especially since the ranch is pretty close to other military installations.
Right.
And some of the sightings, like those black triangles, do sound like they could be advanced aircraft.
Okay.
But then again, you have to wonder if the government was really behind all of this.
Right.
Wouldn't they take more precautions to keep things under wraps?
Right. It's like, could they really keep such a massive operation secret for so long?
It's a good question.
That's the thing with government conspiracies.
Uh-huh.
The more you dig,
Right.
the more questions you uncover.
You just go down the rabbit hole.
So we've touched on hoaxes, hallucinations, and maybe even secret government projects.
Okay.
Where does that leave us?
Well, I think that brings us to the most mind-bending possibility of them all.
Okay, hit me with it.
Alternate realities.
Dun, dun, dun.
Could Skinwalker Ranch be a portal to another dimension?
Okay.
A place where the laws of physics as we know them just don't apply?
I mean, when you hear those stories about objects vanishing into thin air,
Mm-hmm.
Creatures that seem to defy biology,
Right.
it makes you wonder if maybe we're just catching glimpses of something beyond our normal perception.
Yeah, it's a wild idea, I'll admit it.
It is wild.
But it's not totally outside the realm of scientific speculation.
Okay, how so?
Well, some theoretical physicists have proposed the existence of multiple dimensions.
Okay.
Other universes coexisting with our own.
Right.
Imagine if Skinwalker Ranch is like a crack in that reality.
Okay.
Allowing us to peek into those other dimensions.
All right, now my mind is officially doing backflips.
I know, it's a lot to take in.
If Skinwalker Ranch is a window to another reality, what does that mean for everything we think we know about the world?
Oh, that's a question that's going to keep scientists and philosophers debating for a long time to come.
Right.
But I think the most important takeaway here
What's that?
is that we are constantly learning, we are constantly pushing the boundaries of our knowledge.
Right.
Places like Skinwalker Ranch remind us that there's still so much about the universe that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's both exciting and humbling.
I agree. It's like we're standing on the edge of a vast, uncharted territory.
It is.
And every new discovery just hints at how much more there is to explore.
Skinwalker Ranch challenges us to question what we believe, to consider the limits of our perception.
I like that.
It forces us to confront the possibility that the world is far stranger and more wondrous than we ever imagined.
So we've covered personal accounts that will send chills down your spine,
Yeah.
scientific anomalies that defy explanation, Native American legends that hint at a world beyond our own,
Right.
and even the mind-blowing possibility of alternate realities.
It's been quite a ride.
It has. What do you think our listener is taking away from all of this?
You know, I hope they're feeling that same sense of wonder and curiosity that draws us to these mysteries in the first place.
Huh.
Maybe they will be inspired to do a little research of their own, explore the evidence, form their own conclusions.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the beauty of the unexplained. It sparks a desire to learn more, to delve deeper into the unknown.
It's a reminder that we're all explorers in a way.
We are.
Trying to piece together the puzzle of existence.
Trying to make sense of it all.
And sometimes the most fascinating pieces are the ones that don't seem to fit anywhere.
Well said.
Right.
Those are the pieces that lead to the most profound discoveries.
It really does make you think,
Oh, yeah.
we like to think we're in control,
Right.
that we understand the world around us. But places like Skinwalker Ranch really suggest that maybe we are not as in control as we believe.
It's humbling, for sure.
Yeah.
It reminds us that there are still these mysteries out there that we just can't explain.
Right.
And, maybe that's a good thing. It keeps us curious. It keeps us searching.
Absolutely.
For those answers.
So we've explored the Sherman's terrifying experiences, those strange cattle mutilations, the scientific anomalies that NIDS recorded, the Native American legends, and even the mind-blowing possibility of dimensional portals.
We've covered a lot of ground.
It has been a journey.
It really has.
It really highlights how multifaceted these kinds of mysteries can be.
Absolutely.
You can't just look at one piece of the puzzle in isolation.
Right. You have to consider all the different angles, the scientific data, the cultural context, the personal experiences.
Right.
You have to kind of weave it all together to try to see the bigger picture.
It's like we are trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle where some of the pieces are missing and others might not even belong.
Yeah, the puzzle pieces are all mixed up from different boxes.
But that's what makes it so fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
The challenge of trying to make sense of something that seems to defy logic.
I think even if we never find all the answers,
Right.
the journey itself, the exploration, the questioning,
Yeah.
that's where the real value is.
Skinwalker Ranch is this reminder that there's still a sense of wonder and mystery to be found in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Even in this day and age, with all the information at our fingertips,
Right.
there are still these places, these mysteries that just capture our imagination.
I think it's a reminder that we shouldn't be afraid to embrace the unknown,
Right.
to ask those what-if questions
Absolutely.
that push the boundaries of our understanding.
Who knows what we might find?
Exactly.
What incredible discoveries might be waiting for us just beyond the edge of our knowledge?
Well, maybe one day we will have concrete answers
I hope so.
to the riddle of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But until then, the mystery itself is part of the allure.
It is.
It sparks our imagination. It challenges us to think differently.
And it reminds us that there's still so much out there
Yes.
that we don't understand.
And that is a pretty exciting thought.
It is. It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to hear from you, our listeners.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch?
Did anything we talked about today resonate with you?
What questions are still lingering in your mind?
Share your theories, share your insights, share your own experiences with the unexplained.
Yeah, maybe together we can inch a little closer to understanding the mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch.
That's right.
And perhaps the mysteries of the universe itself.
It's all connected.
Until next time, keep your minds open, your curiosity alive. And remember, the truth is out there somewhere.
It is out there.